the TikTok algorithm brought you to me, and it reminded me of those days where I was listening to Kate Nash and Lily, like, you know, all these artists,
British artists, right?
but the ones that were conversational, that were like using their music as a means to heal and to process.
Thank you, yeah.
And I want to know, like, when did you just start letting it come out of you? Was it always like that?
Yeah, it was. I've always been like a songwriter. So I started super young. I wrote my first song when I was maybe like 11. So it's ridiculous. But like also there's a sense of like, I've just, you know, I've always done that. It's always something that has come naturally to me. And I'm thankful about that, you know?
How was this album process different than others?
Because it was the most me I've ever felt. I think every time I create, there's always something that's like slightly different about the way I create. And a lot of the time it's a conscious thing. So like I'll feel too conscious about what I'm saying or how it's going to be perceived or whatever. This album was the first time I felt like I didn't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's made it different about this album than anything else I've released.
Was there a transformation for you? How did you come to this?
I basically cut my hair as a lot of, you know, people do, and then they kind of realize like, oh, it's like a change. Like it's crazy because I used to be that bitch that was like, oh no, like I'm not cutting my hair, like, and I had some awful like bob with like little straggly bits.
Right.
And I'm exaggerating, but like then I was like, actually, do you know what? Like when people say that when you cut your hair and it changes things, especially for like a woman, I think, or like, you know, I think that can be really important in a transitional, like to create a transitional stage, because a point in your life, because it's like a turning point and you go, actually, hang on, like I can be who I want to be. That's what it means. I think for me anyway.
And so that's what you were shedding. You were like,
I was shedding a lot of like consciousness, like being too conscious and being too like
that part. I feel like I'm in that stage of my life right now.
Are you?
I'm like so aware of this flesh bag that I'm in, and like thinking about how each step informs the next step, and sometimes it can be so distracting and noisy. It
can be so noisy, and life is noisy, and being alive is noisy, and I think understanding that like this is like I think that cutting the hair is like I'm a vessel, right? So like cutting my hair wasn't like, oh yeah, like it was a visual, like a outward thing,
right
that people are gonna see, and they're gonna, but like underneath it's deeper than that.
And I know for this project you wanted to make it a point not to bring in any like outside references and just truly be like, this is me as a vessel and I'm just gonna let it spill out. Have you done things in the past where maybe you've like brought a reference in and then it just didn't feel like it was Lola?
Yeah, because like when I bring in a reference, it's like, what am I doing? Like I'm not trying to be like for example, if I brought in a reference from a song that I'd been listening to throughout the fucking week or the past couple months, it's like, okay, and what? Like, Lola, you're not that person, and you're not that person, and you're Lola. And it doesn't always mean that I'm not gonna bring in a reference. It just means that I also know that like if I want to create, it doesn't mean like some artists, for example, they don't listen to music. Like they won't listen to music when they're creating. I listen to music all the time. I'm not I would say I'm like a very heavy music consumer, but I like to listen to like an album and I'll listen to it on repeat, and that ADHD way that we all are. But like I think not we all are, but that I am.
Yes, same.
So I was gonna get it. So basically, I think that like in terms of references, I'm not gonna overthink it.
Right.
The process.
And you recorded this album in LA?
I did, most of it,
What has that been different? Have you recorded most of your music in London or South London, or was that like?
I love recording in LA. I love recording in LA, and I was speaking about this quite a lot today. Like I love recording in LA because it's like it's got an energy about it, but also London has an incredible energy. So does New York. Like so does a lot of big cities, but like LA felt right for the time, and like Solomon Ophonic, my producer, along with Connor and Will, it felt great.
Yeah. So obviously being from South London, I think there's something that I hear in your music. I've never obviously I've never visited, but
Yeah.
I feel like I can imagine the people that are like walking down the street that like live in your neighborhood. How does South London manifest itself in the music that you make?
Well, it's like kind of like New York, but way more like London's like New York, but it's way more like everything is there. Like it's not like separate. Like I don't. It's very multicultural. It's very like you just see culture everywhere in London, and like South London especially is very much like that, and I love it.
Yeah.
I like live and breathe it. And do you know what? Coming here has made me miss it more. Not that I don't love America, but like there's something about London. You have to go.
My biggest style icons actually are you and Nia Archives, because
Wow,
that
thank
kind
you.
of like, to your point, like how it's so multicultural and everything, it's like as big as the world is, but it's super small, and it's like there's like this urgency to the style where it's like it is free. It's like whatever I'm gonna show up as today.
And also like I think there's a freedom in expression that's happening universally at the moment. Like everything is like about being free and being who you are, which I think is amazing, but then also then everyone wants to be everything.
Right.
And so there's this very simple, like there's a very like minute, it's kind of like very small difference in London because it's got this like weird, it's got a weird vibe.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it whatsoever, but it's exact, like it's just, it's like, it's kind of like an alchemy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a science thing.
Like
I don't know what it is,
yeah.
but there must be something in the water over there that just like breathes
there's
y'all.
shit in the water, so.
Well, yeah, facts. Fair. So thinking about how honest you are in your songwriting, how are you imagining approaching making new music as you continue to grow? Like, do you think you'll have to kind of go back, live life a little bit, or do you think you'll use it more like a running diary?
It's a running diary.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a running diary for me. That's just the way I work. I mean, I think like I always believe that like music is a cathartic, very like open, you know, it's an open book. So I'm able to like take bits, and then I'm able to like leave bits, and then I'm able to like, and then I want to say everything, and then I want to say nothing, and like, you know, it's just like, it's great to have that always in my life. It's like my only true love, as I said in the record.
Yeah, I was listening to you today, and there's a part in one of your songs where I like, first time I heard it, I was like, is she gonna fill this with a rhyming word? But you just left it silent.
Which song was it? I don't know.
It was oh Lord, what's the name of it?
Is it okay? Can I go through this?
It's very album? It's yes, latest album, and it's very minimal. The production is yes, and I was like, you're gonna, in my mind, because I was just like in it.
What was it?
I don't remember what the word was.
5 minutes you sound like Joe Malone. I'll never forget that because it was where was it? Second verse?
It was the second verse, and it was just like it was so silent, and I was like, it gave me the opportunity to feel it myself. It was wild.
Oh wow!
I like felt it today.
Thank you.
Is that choice? Like, does that just happen?
Yes, it's choice.
It's choice. Is it something where you like put a word in and then you're like, nah, take that out? Or it's just like, it just happens naturally?
No, it's just like, I just choose to like, my writing style is like developed. So like, I'll go like, nah, probably the word you're thinking of is maybe I never even thought, but like, as in like, I would choose to specifically not do something on purpose because it makes sense to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, it feels right for what I'm saying, the emotion in the record or whatever.
Right, and it's not like there weren't words that could fit. It was just...
Oh yeah, I need to know what bit you're talking about.
Yeah, I will, literally after this, I'll cue it up and we'll listen to it.
Cool, great, thank you.
Yeah, it was really, really special.
Thank
and I
you.
love the choices that you make.
Thank you.